Uhuru, brothers and sisters. My name is Alex Morley. Welcome to Beyond the Boundaries. Today is October 27th, 2019. It's Sunday. My name is Alex Morley. Welcome to Beyond the Boundaries. This is the show where we give you news from the African nation and from the international socialist movement. So, Uhuru, again, brothers and sisters, Uhuru. Brothers and sisters, on this episode of Beyond the Boundaries, we're going to talk about a couple of issues. The first thing I want to talk about is the Africans United Coalition. Brothers and sisters, you know we're doing the Take It to the People campaign, where the African-centered community in the Bahamas is trying to inject our power, our manpower, and our would be our skills into this relief process to aid our brothers and sisters who are being affected uh, by the hurricane. To Take It to the People campaign, brothers and sisters, there's three purpose three objectives for the campaign: one, to bring relief; two, to bring entertainment slash recreation; and three, to provide a space for people to be able to participate in the relief process. Brothers and sisters, we are still continuing with that campaign. We had a community movie night about 2 weeks ago at the Calvary Baptist Church on Collins Avenue, where we showed a movie, I Love You, Anne. We're moving forward with that schedule, brothers and sisters. I had a meeting recently with different forces in the African-centered community. We had a meeting recently with different forces in the African-centered community, and we are moving forward with the agenda. The thing that had interrupted had us somewhat alter the agenda was the fact that the persons at the shelter had been moved to one shelter at this time. So instead of several shelters, it's one shelter. But it was suggested that there may be persons out there, another shelter still out there that persons are still at. So efforts are going to be made this week and the oncoming days to contact that shelter. And we're moving forward with the community art show, brothers and sisters. That will be on November 9th. November 9th. So just stay close. We're going to be putting out information about the community art show, and that's the Africans United Coalition, brothers and sisters. That's the African People's Socialist Party, the EABIC, the Nyabingi, the Coptic Church. That's our pastor uncle with the Coptic Church. It's all African centered brothers and sisters out there. I want to say Uhuru to all of my brothers and sisters in the host of Rastafari. Uhuru to that coalition and all of those organizations. Uhuru, Rastafari, Jah Rastafari, to Empress Kaya, who came in from abroad to ground, to reason with the host of Rastafari community. And Uhuru to all of the brothers and sisters that's connected to the work that she is doing, Empress Kaya is doing to aid the work that we're doing down on the ground. I want to say Uhuru to all the brothers and sisters out there in Florida who are connected to the UNIA movement. Uhuru to all the Rastafarian brothers out there. Uhuru to all the brothers and sisters in the Eastern Caribbean. Uhuru, I ain't forget about y'all. Africa, Uhuru. To all of the brothers and sisters, Uhuru. But brothers and sisters, that's what's going on with the Africans United coalition. That's what's going on with the Take It to the People campaign. The second thing I want to talk about, brothers and sisters, so the community art show that's coming up on November 9th, and that's it's how we've envisioning it. The concept, how we are conceptualizing it is is yoga and art therapy. So come out for that. But like I said, stay close. We're going to be putting out information in regards to that. The second thing I want to talk about, brothers and sisters, I should have spoken about this last week. There was an event that I attended, and it's in regard to the human resource community in the Bahamas. The human resource community in the Bahamas. There's an organization that deals with those persons in that profession. But I attended an event on Thursday, October 17, 2019. It was the official launch of the University of the Bahamas Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM, Student Club, and it was held at the University of the Bahamas Oaksfield campus at the Choices Restaurant. Just to say and the evening at the Choices Restaurant, brothers and sisters, it was a great evening, and I want to say congratulations to all of the young brothers and sisters who were elected to office on that night, brothers and sisters. The master of the ceremony was Jason Stiles. The invocation was done by Glendira McKinsey. The national anthem was done by Miss Samantha Sawyers. The welcome address was done by Dr. Smith from the University of the Bahamas. There was a UBS SHRM overview was done by Dr. Coleman, the Vice President of Human Resources. There was a guest speaker, Mr. Wellington Hebburn. And then, brothers and sisters, there was the installation of the officers. Joe Stubbs, the Dean of Students, Darvin Toussaint, the Director of Campus Life, Mercedes Morley, she is the University of the Bahamas SHRM President, and Nicole Leary, Bahamas SHRM President. So, brothers and sisters, and the remarks were given by Mercedes Morley, who is the University of the Bahamas SHRM Student Chapter President. The vote of thanks was given by Davinia Brown. What is the organization about, brothers and sisters? The organization says, who we are and what do we do? The University of the Bahamas Society for Human Resource Management is an organization for students of the University of the Bahamas enrolled in the discipline of business and hospitality management. This organization will be dedicated to the professional development of students pursuing careers with human resource management, business management, and organizational management. The club objectives: to provide University of the Bahamas students with the opportunity to gain knowledge and insight into the field of human resource management, to promote the exchange of related experiences of established business professionals with the theoretical, academic perspective of student and faculty members through open forums and information exchanges, to foster the development of professionalism. And the club mission, brothers and sisters, to advance the knowledge, skills, and abilities of the University of the Bahamas Student Chapter of SHRM members by providing essential resources, an opportunity to network globally, career guidance, growth, and HR activities. But I just want to say the officers who were elected were the presidents, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, Director of Chapter Information Systems, the Director of Communications, Director of Community Relations and Development, Director of Corporate Relations, Director of Student Relations, and Director of SHRM Merit Awards. I just want to say congratulations to all of those brothers and sisters who are elected into this organization, into leadership roles, and just congratulations, and keep up the good work. The second thing I want to talk about, brothers and sisters, it's from the African Union. It's from the African Union, brothers and sisters. And this story is actually from CNN. It's by Brother Bukola Adebayo. By Brother Bukola Adebayo from CNN. It says, AU faces backlash after terminating ambassador's appointment. Arikana Chiombarro Kwo was appointed representative of the African Union mission to the United States in 2017. The African Union is facing a backlash after terminating the appointment of Dr. Arikana, its ambassador to the United States. In a letter addressed to Dr. Arikana on October 7th, AU Commission Chairman Mufasa Faki Muhammad said the diplomat was relieved of her position in line with the Commission's rules. Dr. Arikana, a U.S.-trained doctor, took up the position in 2017 and had strong views on France's occupation and hold over its former African colonies, which she shared publicly. The Ghanaian national, who served in various capacities for the African Union before her appointment, has also voiced her disapproval of Western powers, who she says have continued to foster their policies on African governments. But the African Diaspora Congress, in an online petition demanding her reinstatement, said the diplomat was fired because of, open quote, influence and pressure exerted on African leaders and people by the former colonial powers of Europe, close quote. Some were not happy with Dr. Araucania's bold but honest stance on Pan-African issues. Apollo Nuwawa, the group secretary, said in the petition, which had garnered nearly 37,000 signatures by Wednesday night. Brothers and sisters, I would ask people to go on, check out CNN, check out the story. AU faces backlash after terminating ambassador's appointment, Dr. Araucania. What I take out of these, I think we know we got to fight for working people to have freedom everywhere, working people and poor people to have freedom and democracy everywhere that we are African people. And we know that on the continent, just like everywhere, just like in the Caribbean, it ain't no different. There are issues, serious issues with the politics on the ground. The people are not benefiting from their labor. They're not getting the real value out of their resources. They don't control their economies. Their governments don't work in their interests. And that's not only in Africa. That's everywhere where black people is, we facing that. We facing that same issue right here in the Bahamas, you know. But if we have an international organization where truth, if you speak just a little bit of truth, that is not accepted, that is not challenged, then that means that's not, you know that, you clearly know that organization does not speak for the interests of the people, and the representatives of those organizations don't speak for the interests of the people. Brothers and sisters, we know on the ground, wherever African people are, there is it's a selection process first. White power selects the representatives who it wants to put before the people. That's what white power does. It selects everywhere all African people are. I sure that happens. It happens here in the Bahamas. There's a selection process, and then there is an election. You know, and this is taken into consideration that elections are the election process is a bourgeois electoral process. It's a sham. We know that, but we're saying this election process in itself, a white power is in it from the get-go. You see, so these international organizations, which are organizations of these same selected persons who white power have selected, you know, they tend not to speak to the interests of the people. And if you have an organization, an international organization, where a little bit of truth, they can't stand that, you know that exposes what that organization is all about. The other things that come to my mind is Walter Rodney. You know, we got to build from the ground. We got to connect our activities to the interests of the working people and the African People's Socialist Party. That's why I'm a member of the African People's Socialist Party. We got to build this movement from below, from the workers, from the poor people. We got to let them know, understand what their value is in this social system, capitalism, what it is, what role do they play in overturning this and bringing a new world into reality. So brothers and sisters, that's why we in the African People's Socialist Party, because we know everywhere where African people is, it ain't no revolutionary organization. We gotta go there. We got to go there and build the organizations that says working people, African working people and the poor people, that we want to take state power. We want to direct the resources of the state in the interests of the working people, in the interests of the poor people. We want it. We want the state power, just like how the bourgeoisie has exercised its authority over the state power. The workers now, the African workers and the farmers, we want a chance. we want to take it. We could take state power and put it directed in the interest of the people. And these organizations exposed that we just got a lot of work to do, brothers and sisters. It ain't gonna come right now, but we just got a lot of work to do, and that's why we in the African People's Socialist Party. That's why we in the Africans United Coalition. That's why we doing the work that we doing. That's why all the brothers and sisters out there doing the work that they doing. EABIC, the Nyabingi, the brothers and sisters in Florida, the UNIA, the brothers and sisters in the African People's Socialist Party in Europe, in South Africa, all over the world, Uhuru. That's why we keep on doing what we doing. So brothers and sisters, that's what I wanted to say about that. The other thing I wanted to say is Cuba. The story is from Telesur. Telesur. It says the English. Telesur English, of course. The measure says the Donald Trump administration will ban all flights from the United States to different destinations in Cuba, except Havana. News agency Associated Press reported Friday. The U.S. Department of Transportation announced that JetBlue, an American Airlines flight to Santa Clara, Holguin, and Camagüey will all be canceled by December 10th. The move responds to Washington's interest to intensify the blockade against the island and reverse all the diplomatic advances between both governments promoted under Barack Obama's administration. The decision came after a U.S. Department request to the Department of Transportation specifying that the new rule will take effect in 45 days. Through a letter, the top U.S. diplomat, Mike Pompeo, requested the suspension of flight authorization to strengthen sanctions against the Cuban government. The purpose seems to be to stop or reduce as much as possible U.S. tourism to Cuba, just as the island is on the cusp of its touristic high season. Brothers and sisters, go on Telesur English, check out, but it's the continuation of the blockade against Cuba. One of the things that the Black is Back coalition, the whole theme of the march and rally that we're having on November 2nd and November 2nd and 3rd in Washington and DC is to turn these imperialist wars, turn the war against and turn imperialist wars against imperialism. And that's taking place on November 2nd and November 3rd in Washington, D.C. And it's the march and rallies, Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace, and Reparations. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the blockades against Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, Iran, the economic sanctions that these countries face, brothers and sisters. And we want brothers and sisters all over the world to take part of it and stay tuned for the information that we'll be doing, because we just doing a lot of work and we just want you to stay close and stay connected and support us as much as you can. And Cuba needs you. Cuba is an important country for African people, for socialists around the world. It has done a lot historically, and it needs us to stand up for it. The economic blockade that Cuba faces is unjust, just like how the economic blockade that Venezuela faces is unjust. So that's why we're highlighting Cuba, brothers and sisters. So I just want you to stay tuned for stay tuned for more information about Cuba. The next thing I wanted to read, brothers and sisters, is from counterpunch.org, and it's Scorsese's Lament, and it's by Louis Project, and it's from the art and culture section. Every week I try to do something about art and culture, and I think that this story covers a little bit about art and culture. It's about cinema, But before I say the story, let me say three things three things, three movies, three of my favorite movies. And you got to take into consideration that we had one channel for many years in this country, and this ain't a slight against nobody, because when the people them when other people come in power, they change that. They change it into the direction of imperialism, but instead of the direction of the interest of the people. You know what I mean? But anyway, uh, uh, my three favorite movies, if you ask me, quickly, if come off the top of my head, Cool Hand Luke. That's Paul Newman. Cool Hand Luke. That's what they used to bring on in the nighttime. ZNS. ZNS used to bring Cool Hand Luke. A lot of John Wayne movies, a lot of westerns, a lot of black and white movies. But Cool Hand Luke, that was one of the first movies that I stood out in my mind when I was a little boy, very young, watching Paul Newman, Cool Hand Luke. Second movie, I think what every black man, every African man, Scarface. Come on, Al Pacino and Scarface. I think that's like 80% of the black men in the world, And third, Hoop Dreams. People who don't know that movie, that's a basketball movie. Hoop Dreams is about. I think I haven't seen it in a long time. I haven't even Googled it. But if you ask me quickly, these would be the movies that quickly come to my head. And Hoop Dreams, I used to watch it all the time. It's a movie about a documentary about these two young high school basketball players. I think it was in Chicago, and their lives. But I used to watch that documentary constantly. But those would be the three movies that stand out in my mind. I have a lot of movies. Of course, I like movies about Denzel and other movies and Eddie and all of that. But those were quick movies. If you ask me quickly, those are the ones I'd come up with. But check out thecounterpunch.org, brothers and sisters. There's a story. Martin Scorsese, he had something recently to say about these comic book movies. I agree. I agree with him, but I also know that movies are supposed to be fun too. But I agree. I understand what he's saying. Scorsese's Lament, and it's on counterpunch.org by Louis Proyact. In an upcoming interview with Empire Magazine, Martin Scorsese gave Marvel films and superhero films in general the thumbs down. I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. Within a few days, his fellow legendary director Francis Ford Coppola concurred. At a press conference in Lyon, France, where he was being honored at the Lumiere Festival, he was even more disparaging. Martin was being kind when he said it was in cinema. He didn't say it was despicable, which is what I would say. While not quite as prestigious and influential, the Marxist filmmaker and their fellow septuagenarian Ken Loach went the furthest in diagnosing the nature of the affliction. It was nothing less than capitalism, as he told Sky News. I find them boring. They are made as commodities, like hamburgers. It's about making a commodity which will make profit for a big corporation. They are cynical exercise. They are market exercise, and it has nothing to do with the art of cinema. Even Benedict Cumberbatch, an actor who earned millions playing a Marvel comic superhero, Doctor Strange, agreed with them in an interview on SiriusXM. I know there's been a lot of debate recently with some very fine filmmakers coming to the fore, saying these film franchises are taking over everything. I agree. We don't want one king to rule it all and have a monopoly and all that. And hopefully it's not the case, and we should really look into continuing to support auteur filmmakers at every level. Brothers and sisters, for time on me, so I can't read all of it, but I would urge persons to go on Counterpunch and check out Scorsese's Lament by Louis Proyact. Scorsese's Lament. Last thing, because I think it's a good analysis of cinema and why Scorsese would have said what he said. Yeah, and I appreciate the I used to read comic books too, to a certain extent, you know, and I appreciate that those movies to a certain extent, and I understand what Scorsese is saying too, you know, because the kind of movies he makes is just a different. He just makes different kind of movies, you know, with character development and stuff like that. However, you know what I wanted to say, the last thing, you know why I think this is important? The movie The Joker. Uh, I see that image popping up a lot, you know, and this is what I would say. You know, working class people and their struggle is always, you're just not depicted properly in mainstream cinema. And I would say, you know, and this has nothing to do with, I don't want to make it more than it is, because it's just a movie. At the end of the day, they just want you to come to the next movie. They're just trying to make a dollar, right? But I think that and this has nothing to do with the actor, because you know the brethren could act. You know what I mean? That's clear. The brethren could act. But I would say I think hustle and flow. That's what I like. Not what I like. I think that there's a way to show working people and all their pain and all their struggle and them falling down and them continuing to fall down, and within that falling down still finding light. And I think there's a way that we can still show that. And I think yeah, Hollywood always seemed mainstream, always, yeah, they just don't reflect working class, white or black, and the pain and the ups and downs that goes along with that. It doesn't reflect it properly in the mainstream Hollywood world, you know. And I like the hustle and flow kind of, you know, that's the kind of movie. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind, you know, because I think within the working class struggle, there is light. There is light. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Uh, Brothers and sisters from the sports world, I could just say, and this for who the person who this message for know who this for. Uh, Two words: Vaughn Miller. Vaughn Miller. VonMiller. Vaughn Miller. That's all I can say. Uh, Brothers and sisters, I got it a little mixed up little couple of minutes ago, but the Black is Back for community, that's from the sports world, community announcements. The Black is Black Coalition for Social Justice, Peace and Reparations is marching on November 2nd, November 3rd. We having a march and rally in Washington, D.C., where we could be talking about the Haiti things that Haiti going through, the things that Iran, the economic blockades against Iran, Venezuela. We could be talking about domestic colonialism that's going on in the U.S. We're going to be talking about the struggle with African people facing all around the world. But brothers and sisters, that's the BI, the Black is Back Coalition for Social Justice, Peace and Reparations. They have a march and rally on November 2nd and 3rd in Washington, D.C. So I want you to go online and check out for information in regards to that. And I want you to be there. And I also want you to stay close, because you know the Africans United Coalition, you know, we're doing some work too. And we want you to come out to support us, the work that we're doing for the art show coming up on November 9th. Community art show is coming up on November 9th. So those are the things that I wanted to say, brothers and sisters. A recommended reading. Go on Black Agenda and check out Mindy Ice's report on the UAW. She's talking about she's not supporting the UAW, the agreement that's being proposed for the UAW, for the United Automotive Workers Union. So go on Black Agenda and check out Mindy Ice's report. And also check out Horace Campbell's report on China's road to socialism. China's road to socialism. Dr. Horace Campbell gave me a better, when I read his book, from Walter Rodney to Rastafari to Walter Rodney, can't remember which one. But it gave me a better view on the appreciation for the global perspective of Rastafari. But brothers and sisters, check out Black Agenda report, Horace Campbell's story report, China and its road to socialism, and Mindy Ice's report on the UAW, what's going on in the UAW and their new proposed agreement. I could be here again next week on Beyond the Boundaries. Alex Molly, giving you news and information from the African nation and from the international socialist movement. Uhuru, brothers and sisters. Uhuru to all of the brothers in Africans United Coalition. Uhuru to the ABIC, Nyabingi, Rastafari, Assalamu alaikum. Uhuru, one Africa, one nation. Uhuru to all of the brothers and sisters in the Uhuru movement and the African People's Solidarity Committee. Uhuru, Uhuru. I will talk about the thing what's going on in England, the leaders in England, Jeremy Corbyn. Y'all just don't understand. But y'all just don't understand. To move, it just takes years in this struggle to move from the back to the front, you know. Because I used to read the Morning Star. You know. He was. I remember. It takes years to move from the back to the front. And you know, that's the same thing with the chairman of the African People's Socialist Party too, you know. It takes years. And we can be in this struggle for a long time. But Uhuru to all of the brothers and sisters in the international socialist movement in the African nation. Uhuru, one Africa, one nation. Uhuru.